What's up, everybody? I am Rick Knight, the Bad Philosopher. Welcome to my show, brand new YouTube show that I just started doing videos today. Matter of fact, this is like my third video that I put up. I just want to comment on what's going on with the New York Times and the hiring of Sarah Jeong, which I'm sure I'm late to the party, so we're all familiar with the case where she's hired as a tech journalist and she made some racist tweets and comments towards white people prior to being hired from the New York Times, and they were very familiar with her in her comments, and they hired her anyway. And they had the lame excuse that she was only emulating the people who were harassing her by saying the same thing back to them, but saying white instead of whatever they were saying to her because she's a Korean American. I've yet to see any of these tweets that people were saying to her. I'm not sure what they were saying to her. I'm on social media arguing with people all the time, debating with people, and I get called a Nazi and a white supremacist and all that stuff all the time from people. And some of those people are black, some of them are white, some of them are Hispanic. They're of different races, different nationalities. All the times that I'm called a cracker and a Nazi and all these things from people, not once did I ever respond by calling them a racial slur, because I'm better than that. I pride myself of striving to be as moral as my little brain will allow me to be. So I don't resort to using racial slurs against people. Even if they're using it against me, I do my best to make sure that I present myself as someone who's just here to have philosophical arguments with people and not racial arguments, and not vilify people based on their race or anything like that. But unfortunately, the other side of the aisle has an open market towards being racist towards us. And I mean, I understand history and where it all comes from, and I understand that, you know, at a certain time in history, it was cute. You know, George Jefferson would call us a honky and stuff like that, and we laughed, and we deserved it. We just let it go. But now it's to the point where we have so much racial tension between us, and the hypocrisy from the left, it's staggering. It is chart-topping stupid, some of the things that they say about us, and expect us to not want to defend ourselves. And the very second we do defend ourselves, they say that we have white privilege, and that's why we're defending ourselves, and we're mansplaining and white-splaining, and this is microaggression, and all of these terms that these Marxist professors come up with. They say that racism, you can only be racist if you have power, which it's just not the case. The definition of racism has nothing to do with power. When you dislike a group based on their race, that is racism, plain and simple. And that's what this was with this Sarah Jeong. She made racist comments towards us. Twitter didn't ban her. We all wondered what would happen if we would have changed the word white to black or Jewish or anything else. What would happen? Well, Candace Owens, I'm sure you're familiar with her, she took us up on that, and she tweeted the exact same thing Sarah Jeong did, but she switched out the word white for black and Jewish, and she was immediately placed on a 12-hour ban from Twitter. They recently lifted the ban, saying that it was a mistake. Really what happened was the public outcry from Twitter users that said that this is not right, that you banned her, but you didn't ban Sarah Jeong, and this is hypocrisy. And that's what made them lift the ban, I'm pretty sure. It is of my opinion that the New York Times and Twitter, only reason why they're not taking any action towards Sarah Jeong is because they agree with her. They agree with what she said. They're on her side, and they think it is perfectly fine to be racist towards white people. And I just want to give you the white perspective for a second. We feel this exact same way that you feel when someone is racist towards you. We feel the exact same way when you're racist towards us. We have the exact same thoughts in our head. You know, we don't deserve this. We didn't do anything to you. We're just living our lives. Maybe we're having a little dispute. It has nothing to do with skin color. Maybe we're having a dispute over a parking spot, and we're arguing, and right away it's looked at, well, you're white and I'm black, and we're arguing over a parking spot, therefore you're racist. And that's how it works in society, where we're always branded as being racist, and you're allowed to make comments towards us. And on the flip side, it's the same thing. You know, a lot of people view black people as being all criminals and troublemakers, and I see how that makes them feel. The same way we feel about always being looked at as being racist, that's how they feel about always being looked at as being up to no good. So, and all the racism that they dealt with in history, and some of the race, because there is still racism that exists, some of the racism that they deal with today I can see where where they're coming from. I understand what they feel about it, and it's the same thing that we feel about it. So we all have this same feeling that when someone is attacking us based on our race, we all feel that it's not right, it's not fair, and it's not warranted. But yet it's still perfectly socially acceptable and politically correct to vilify us based on being white and not based on our intellect or based on our moral values. It's always based on our skin color, and that needs to stop. We need to, if we are going to criticize each other, we need to move past the criticism of skin color, and we need to criticize people based on their moral value, and we need to criticize them based on their intellect. And I'm not saying intellect as far as like how smart they are. If they're stupid people, we should just make fun of them and criticize them for not being very well readers or writers or something. I mean, their intellect, the things that they say and their ideas and the way they think and the ideas they put forth, that's what we criticize people on. Their behavior, their moral values that they have in life. This is what we criticize people on, not based on race. But it seems that the left doesn't play this game, the same game that we're playing. They want to just call us out constantly for anything. Black or white, listen, this is a multiracial country where you have black and white, and we share the same space, we live in the same communities, we have to interact with each other when we're in public, so we share the same space, and we are going to have conflicts in the future over things, maybe over a parking spot, maybe over our spot in line. We will have a conflict, and if we keep resorting to calling it racism every time we have a conflict, then racism will always be around, because there'll always be a conflict between people. Black people have conflicts between each other. White people have conflicts between each other. And it's never anything else other than the conflict itself. But when black and white have a conflict, then it becomes racism all the time. It's always a racial thing. And that's not always the case. Sometimes, most of the times I believe, it's just we're having a conflict over something and there's no need to jump to race. But that's what the left does. They jump to race for everything, because they are a party of race, gender, and sexuality, and that's what they push forward. And it all stems from Marxism. That's really what it's coming from. So Sarah Jung's comments on Twitter is, it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all that she wasn't vilified at all, that she wasn't placed on, they didn't ban her, they didn't delete her. It wasn't, she deleted them herself. But it's too late. It got out there. We all know about it. New York Times, you hired her anyway, which you have the right to, but you don't have the right for me to respect you. And there's a lot of people out there. There's probably millions of people out there in the country who are on my side and think just like me. We no longer respect you. And I got news for you. There's a lot of black people in the country that also agree with me too and think that this is disgusting behavior. They think racism needs to die, just like I do and just like everybody else. And the one way to kill it is to stop making everything a racial issue and stop vilifying white people just for the color of their skin, and start vilifying them based on their moral standings and based on their intellect, not about the color of their skin. But the social justice left does not think so, and that's why we have this big #walkaway movement that's happening, which a lot of black people are involved in, because they're moving over to our side because they don't agree with that nonsense anymore. So everyone out there, do yourselves a favor and stop reading the New York Times. Don't click on their clickbait nonsense you see on social media. Leave them alone, and we should all get on Twitter and let Twitter know what we feel about them, and use the power of the market to show these companies that we're tired of it. And even though legally there's nothing we can do to them, that they have the right, they have the First Amendment right, they have freedom of association, well, so do we. And we have the right to use our voice to vilify you right back. And we also have freedom of association. So we have the freedom to disassociate with Twitter and the New York Times. And we need to show them that. We need to play the exact same game the left plays. And we need to start boycotting every left-wing media corporation, every social media outlet, every corporation responsible for promoting racism of any kind. We need to call them out. And the best way to do it is to start playing the same game they play, and we need to start running hit pieces against them, and we need to start boycotting them to let them know that if you want true diversity, inclusion, tolerance, diversity, all these things, if you want that, then it starts by all of us coming together and playing by the same rules. If not, then we should start playing the exact same game the social justice left plays. I'm Rick Knight. That's my opinion. Leave some comments in the bottom. All comments are welcome. All insults are welcomed. All everything, anything you can think of. Go ahead, have at it, have fun. Please make sure the insults are funny. I'm a big fan of humor. Please be funny. Thank you. Goodbye.